Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of My Name is Dad. And we are here talking college basketball, and in studio for a very rare appearance, Mr. Brody Benson. Say hi, Brody.
Hello. Well, Dad, I'm in every episode now. I went back. I've been in like the last like 4 episodes.
It's still rare.
Because you haven't continued that series.
What series?
Where you like talk about like your life.
Oh, okay.
You stop that.
Well, I mean, I just, I do it on my own time.
Mm. So, yeah.
All right. We are talking college basketball, but before we get into college basketball and March Madness tournament, let's talk about the sponsor, Point B Grading and Turfgrass Maintenance, LLC. Check us out at pointbgrading.com for all your laser grading, landscape contracting needs. Baseball season is getting started, and a lot of those baseball and softball fields were laser graded by myself. So check us out at pointbgrading.com and send us an email at pointbgrading@gmail.com. All right. It is March. It is time for March Madness, the NCAA National Championship Tournament, and we are making picks for the first and second round of March Madness. Anything you want to talk about before we get started here, Brody? We got a lot of picks to get through, so.
Not really.
Do you want to mention anything about Mr. Kyler Murray from our Arizona Cardinals signing with the Minnesota Vikings? Will not be back as an Arizona Cardinal. Are you happy or are you crying yourself to sleep?
I'm happy.
You're happy?
And, kind of. It's just, I think Kyler Murray is better than our quarterbacks right now.
Yeah.
But all those Vikings fans think they're going to get a really good quarterback, but I'm telling you, he's not going to be very good in Minnesota.
He's not very good. I've seen enough of him. I think something's wrong with his arm. Again, you look at the stats, he's the worst deep ball throwing quarterback in the entire league out of all the quarterbacks. And he barely runs. That was his biggest thing when he played for Oklahoma and he won the Heisman, is he would scramble like Johnny Manziel and run 90 yards for a touchdown. He does none of that. He'll scramble for 4 or 5 yards and get out of bounds. Doesn't throw a deep ball very well. Barely. It seems like his arm strength is gone away, diminished, all that stuff. So it will be very disappointing if he does turn it around and has a really good couple seasons and turns his career around. But I don't have high hopes that he will.
Mm-hmm. And then we should be coming out with a NFL draft like thing.
Yes.
Soon.
We will be doing. We will continue to do some picks for the March Madness tournament, and we'll also be discussing, because Brody is a NFL draft expert. He knows all the names, what school, what height they are, how much they ran the 40, how much they weigh, how much they bench press, all that stuff. So Brody will give us the update on NFL draft when the time gets a little closer, which the NFL draft is in April.
Mm-hmm.
So stay on the lookout for those episodes, and we will. Our next episode will be for the Sweet 16 and Elite 8 of the March Madness,
which hopefully Texas Tech is still playing by then.
We hope so. All right, we have a lot of picks to get through, and we are making our picks. We're not doing any cover straight dogs. We're just doing straight picks on who we think's gonna make it to the next round. And since we're doing one episode this week, we're going to pick the first and second round, which the games go from Thursday to Sunday. So let's start in the East. We're not going in chronological order. We're just going based on the brackets that we have. So let's start in the East. And the number 1 seed is Duke versus the 16 seed Siena. Brody, who do you got? Should be an easy one.
I got Duke. I don't think Siena has a chance.
No, they don't have a chance. Duke is definitely going to win this game.
Except Siena is probably the best 16th seed.
You think so?
Yes.
I kind of like Long Island.
The
Long Island Sharks, yeah.
Maybe.
Did you know that when I worked at Peoria, this is maybe jumping ahead a little bit. When I worked at Peoria, the Long Island Sharks played Washington State in baseball at the Peoria Stadium one time, but right before spring training.
So you just have bias. That's why.
No, I'm just saying.
Bias.
I'm just saying that I've heard of that university before. That's all.
And now they're in March Madness.
Yeah, they are. All right. continuing on in the East bracket, the East region, we have the number 8 seed Ohio State versus the number 9 seed TCU, Texas Christian University. Who are you taking, Brody?
TCU. Ohio State's frauds, and TCU. I've watched TCU, and they're very good.
I'm taking Ohio State. I think TCU might be a little fraud, or at least they're a little hit and miss. Ohio State has been playing well enough to get themselves into the tournament, even at an 8 seed. So I will take the Ohio State.
You could say the same thing about TCU. They're on like a win streak.
Exactly. So
they beat Tech, and then
it's a 50-50 shot, I think, and I'll take Ohio State on this one.
Mm-hmm.
All right, the next matchup is the 5 seed St. John's versus the 12 seed Northern Iowa. This is the big 5-12 matchup.
St. John's, sadly.
It's St. John's. Coach Rick Pitino is the head coach of St. John's. He's big-time college basketball coach. He's just a basketball coach in general. I think that he gets it done, and St. John's moves on to the second round.
Mm-hmm.
All right, the 4 seed, the Kansas Rock Chalk Jayhawks against the 13 seed California Baptist. I have no idea where California Baptist is. I'm just assuming it's in Southern California somewhere, but I have no idea.
Maybe. But we heard on the radio today that they liked some guard on California Baptist.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't change anything. I got Kansas. It's not even close.
This is my first upset. California Baptist takes down number 4 Kansas Rock Chalk. Not today.
2 words. Darian Peterson.
Well, Darian Peterson decides when and if he wants to play. I don't know if he wants to play in this tournament. I think he's just looking forward to the NBA draft. He knows he's going to be a first rounder. He's probably going to end up on the 76ers or something like that. California Baptist, their very first tournament ever. I actually like the 13 seeds better than the 12 seeds in this tournament. So California Baptist, let's get it done. Let's knock out Kansas in the first round. Let's go.
Hell no.
All right. The number 6 seed Louisville versus the 11 seed South Florida.
Louisville, because I've turned into some of their games, and every game I've turned into, they have this one player that's dropping like 40, 50 points a game, and they've dominated every game that I have watched. And South Florida, I don't really know much about them in basketball.
Well, I'm going to tell you something right now. I got South Florida. Let's go. The Bulls over Louisville. Louisville are frauds.
This happened last year.
They're frauds. Frauds. South Florida, let's go.
This happened last year. Done. My dad picked every upset, and it never worked out for him. And then the one that happens, he just brags that he got one upset right, but he picks every upset. So, of course, you're going to get one round when you pick every upset.
But I got 2 in the East region. Cal Baptist and South Florida. Let's go. Let's get it done.
I have 1 in the East region.
All right, let's move on. We got the 3 seed Michigan State versus the 14 seed North Dakota State, the Bison.
Michigan State.
Yeah.
Are the coaches too good and the players are too good?
Yeah, this East region has a bunch of Hall of Fame coaches in it, and Michigan State is another one with Coach Tom Izzo. Michigan State always seems to do well in the tournament, so no way they get knocked out in the first round. Michigan State all the way. All right, moving on. We have the 7 seed UCLA versus the 10 seed UCF, the University of Central Florida, Big 12 school.
UCLA is too inconsistent, and I've watched some UCF games, and they have this tall-ass guy, and then they have some nice guards, and UCF has beaten Texas Tech, BYU, all these schools, and I think UCF wins this first game.
I think I got UCLA in this game.
All right.
And that must have been your upset pick, a 10 over a 7. Woo,
and doggy. I have TCU a 9 over an 8.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Really taking a big leap there.
Yes, sir.
You know?
Yes, sir.
I got UCLA. UCF, I think, is good at home, not so good in neutral sites or on the road. UCLA consistently, usually pretty good in the tournament, usually good at basketball. I will take UCLA.
This is the East region, so most of the games are played on the East side, and UCLA has to go all the way to the East.
Yeah, but the first round games are not necessarily in the East or the West or whatever. The Sweet 16 and the Elite 8 are.
Oh, my bad.
That's okay, bro. All right, to finish out the East region, we got the number 2 seed UConn versus the 15 seed Furman. And if you get this one wrong, I'm going to be mad.
I'm picking UConn.
I'm picking UConn also. It seems like an easy one. I don't think any of the 1s or 2s are going to take a dive in this year. But UConn, I will select to go to the second round. All right, moving on to the South region. We got the number 1 seed Florida versus Prairie View A&M or Lehigh. I don't think it matters. Florida's going to make it to the second round.
Florida's going to whip them by 40 points.
Yes, exactly. All right, we both got Florida. Moving on to the second round. The 8-9 seed, we got Clemson at number 8. Iowa at number 9. This is the ACC versus Big Ten game. Who do you got in this one, Brody? Do you have an upset pick on this one?
I basically just flipped a coin, and I'm picking Clemson because both these teams are very good.
I'm picking Clemson only because I think we both had Clemson last year, and they lost in the first round. So a team to go out in the first round 2 years in a row, especially an ACC team, I will take my chances, and I will pick Clemson to move on to the second round. All right, another 5-12 seed. We got number 5 Vanderbilt and the 12 seed McNeese.
So, 2 years ago, McNeese had all these upsets, and they became really famous. But this Vanderbilt team is very good. They're very inconsistent, but when they're hot, and they're hot right now, this Vanderbilt team is very good. So, give me Vanderbilt. Yeah,
I'm taking Vanderbilt. Again, I mentioned it earlier. I like the 13 seeds better than the 12s. Historically, a 12 always beats a 5 in these tournaments. But McNeese, I think people are going to pick McNeese just because of what they've done before. Mm-hmm. But I don't necessarily think that's going to happen this year. So I will also take Vanderbilt to move on to the second round. All right, the 4 seed Nebraska and against the 13 seed Troy.
I don't really even like this Nebraska team, but I think, like you said earlier, that Nebraska gets their first March Madness win ever, right?
Yes.
Ever. So I think Nebraska gets a close win against Troy.
So Nebraska was in the Big 8, which then turned into the Big 12, and has been part of the Big 10 for many, many years, probably before you were born, Brody. And they have 0 NCAA tournament wins. Now, I also heard a fact that Troy also has 0 NCAA wins. They are 0-3. But I think this is the year Nebraska gets it done. I will take Nebraska to move on to the second round. All right, moving on. We are at the 6 seed North Carolina versus the 11 seed VCU.
The last 2 years, North Carolina has gotten upset. They lost to that Oakland team when they had Jack Goldie or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
And then they lost last year to like an upset. And VCU is very good. And I was like, there's no way they lose back-to-back upsets. But they did lose Caleb Wilson, their best player. Mm-hmm. And this VCU team is very good. So give me VCU to upset North Carolina.
Yeah, I'm taking VCU also. I don't think North Carolina is very good. They're very streaky. When I was a kid growing up, I was a Duke fan, so I always did hate kind of North Carolina. But VCU, they're good. They're a good basketball team. They've been in the tournament consistently over what I can remember. I think even one year they beat Duke in the first round. So I like VCU 11-6. I'll take VCU also.
Yeah, and North Carolina does not have their best player.
Yes. All right, moving on. We got the number 3 seed in the South, which is Illinois, against number 14 Penn from the Ivy League. That's where they're from, the Ivy League. Penn won the conference tournament for the Ivy League. So Illinois versus Penn. Who do you got, Brody?
Ever since Illinois beat Texas Tech, I follow them a lot more. And the Illinois team is not very I like the roster. They don't look like a bunch of studs, but this Illinois team is very good. And I think Illinois beats this team by a lot and makes it far.
Yeah. We both watched that Illinois versus Texas Tech game, and Illinois looked good.
Yeah.
The thing is, they're not very super athletic. They're like a bunch of big white guys.
Yeah.
Right?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Their team doesn't look amazing, but they're good.
Yeah, but they are good. They can shoot. They play sound, fundamental basketball. I think, the Ivy League, they do outsmart people. Princeton and Harvard and Yale have advanced in the tournament before. I don't know if Penn does it this time. Illinois, to me, is really good,
and
so I'll take Illinois.
Doesn't Illinois have like 2 7-foot guys on their team.
Yeah, they got 2 7-foot. They were like brothers or something like that. And they got Peja Stojakovic's sons on the team. Again, they're not the most athletic team, but they got size. They play fundamental basketball, so I like Illinois. All right, moving on. The 7 seed in the South is St. Mary's versus the 10 seed Texas A&M.
Texas A&M is not like last year, so I got St. Mary's winning.
I got St. Mary's also. I don't think the Texas A&M team is as good as last year or not as good. The St. Mary's team has been chasing Gonzaga for a long time. They struggled to get out of the first round and the second round, but I do think they do win this first round game against Texas A&M. And then to finish out the South region, we have the number 2 Houston Cougars versus the 15 seed Idaho, the Idaho Vandals.
Houston's very good, so give me Houston.
Houston is good, so that's an easy one. Let's take Houston. All right, let's move on to the West region. In the West, we have Arizona, the 1 seed, versus Long Island University, the Sharks.
No, give me Arizona.
Yeah, I'll take Arizona too. Arizona's too good. Long Island, they're probably like a recent Division I team in baseball and all that stuff. They're trying to come up in sports, and they're doing a good job of it, but Arizona, this is not the time for them to make a statement. Nope. Arizona's going to win this game. All right, the 8-9 seed, we got Villanova as the 8 seed and Utah State as the 9 seed.
It's another coin flip, but Utah State was good last year, and they're still good this year, so give me Utah State.
Yeah, Utah State is notorious, even like New Mexico State. They're really good at basketball, kind of like how Fresno State used to be good at basketball, not anymore. Villanova, they're rebuilding since they've had their little championship run a couple years ago and stuff. I do like Utah State to come out of this one. I'll take Utah State to make it to the second round. All right, the next 5-12 seed in the West is Wisconsin versus High Point.
Wisconsin are frauds, and High Point, they have like the most like wins in like this tournament, and every win that they have has been more than like 20 points. So I think High Point is going to win this game. Really? I actually have Wisconsin in this game. Again, I don't really like any of the 12 seeds in this one. I'll take Wisconsin. Wisconsin always seems be like, oh, Wisconsin's going to get upset in the first round, and then they make it to like the Elite Eight. So, so I'm just going to go ahead and choose Wisconsin because I want them to lose. I want them to get knocked out in the first round. That means they will go on to like the Sweet 16 or the Elite Eight. So Wisconsin, I'll take Wisconsin to make it to the second round. All right, the next one is the 4 seed Arkansas versus the 13 seed Hawaii. Give me Arkansas. They have arguably one of the best coaches in this league, and Darius Acuff is arguably the best player in this bracket. So give me Arkansas.
That's right. So it seems like sometimes in these tournament games, if you have really good guard play, that can take you a long way in this tournament. Hawaii plays. They're a good basketball team, but Arkansas. I mean, John Calipari and that guard you mentioned. I can't remember his name, but yeah, I think Arkansas wins this game.
Arkansas was like an 11 seed last year, and their coach brought them to Texas Tech in like the Elite Eight.
Yeah.
And they retained that whole team, and they got better players. So yeah, give me Arkansas.
Yeah. This might be a game where maybe Hawaii covers a 15-point spread or whatever it is.
Hawaii's good. Hawaii's good.
But I don't think they're going to win this game.
No.
Yeah. All right, moving on. We have the 6th seed BYU, Brigham Young University, and they're playing the winner of Texas NC State, which that game is probably starting right about now. Who do you got? You got the 6 or the 11, Brody?
I got BYU.
Really?
BYU's very good, and AJ's very good. And unlike Darian Peterson, AJ actually might stay in college, and AJ wants to play, and AJ is going to win this game.
I am taking the winner of the 11 seed, which I believe will be NC State.
Hopefully.
So sometimes those play-in games, the 11 seed, they kind of get a little advantage because they played a game already and they got a little momentum, and they've already played a game in a neutral site, and it kind of does seem to help them a little bit. So it just kind of seems that BYU is in a really tough spot right here. Whoever they play, whether it's Texas or NC State, I believe it will be NC State. So I will take that 11 seed to knock out BYU in the first round. All right, let's go to the 3 seed, which is Gonzaga, and 14 is Kennesaw State.
Gonzaga has kind of fallen off over the years, but I feel like this year they're back. So give me Gonzaga because they have one of the best defensive teams in the league.
Well, that's the thing about Gonzaga is they're actually in the tournament every year. It's always their year this year, and they never get it done. But they usually make it to the Sweet 16. They're like Arizona. They always make it to the Sweet 16 and they get knocked out. But Gonzaga is going to beat Kennesaw State. Gonzaga definitely makes it to the Sweet 16 at least, I think.
Definitely.
All right, we have the 7 seed Miami of Florida against the number 10 seed Mizzou.
Give me Missouri.
Oh, Brody. A big upset pick, huh, Brody?
I don't really know much about both of these teams, but Missouri looked good last year, and I think they retained most of their players, and I think they have size, so give me Missouri.
Something I looked up, I don't remember what it was. Maybe Missouri's not good at free throws or something like that, but I got Miami of Florida in this one. I can't remember what it was, but something in my research, I'm guessing is probably free throw percentage. That's usually a big factor for me, especially in these 7-10s, 8-9s. When it's going to be a close game, free throw percentage matters. So a lot of times in those games that are like 50-50, you don't know which one to pick. I just go with the team with the higher free throw percentage because late in the game when there's a lot of fouls and all that stuff, you make free throws, you got a better chance of winning. So I'm guessing that's probably the reason why I chose Miami. So I got Miami in this one to take out Missouri.
On Google, just search up what's the best free throw shooting team, and that's the team my dad's picking to win the whole thing. Because my dad only picks teams based on what their free throw percentage is.
No, if I don't know which team to pick, I will look at free throw percentage.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, and to finish out the West region, we got the 2 seed Purdue versus the 15 Queens University.
Purdue, not even close.
Yeah, I'll take Purdue in this one. Also, that's an easy one. All right, to the Midwest region, the number 1 seed is Michigan University, and they are probably going to play Howard. I think the game's ending right now, but Howard was winning. It's either Howard or UMBC. They're a 16 seed, but doesn't matter.
No, Michigan's going to whoop them.
Michigan's going to win. All right, and the 8-9 game is the University of Georgia versus St. Louis. Or St. Louis.
I like St. Louis, but I like Georgia more, and Georgia has a really big center, and give me Georgia.
I have St. Louis in this one, or St. Louis. So I got St. Louis as the 9 seed moving on. All right, the next big 5-12 game is number 5 seed Texas Tech, our Texas Tech Red Raiders, against the 12 seed Akron.
A lot of people have Akron upsetting Texas Tech, but I'm biased, and also I think people forget how good Christian Anderson is and Donovan Atwell can shoot, and just because we don't have JT Toppin doesn't mean we're this good team, like this great team. So give me Texas Tech to beat Akron barely.
I also have Texas Tech. One, because I am biased, and we watch a lot of our Texas Tech basketball.
Mm-hmm.
They've played almost half the season without JT Toppin, or at least half of their Big 12 schedule without JT Toppin, and they won a lot of games.
Beat Iowa State.
They won some games, big games, right? They beat Arizona in Tucson. You know, they beat Iowa State, so they can play good basketball.
At Iowa State,
they can play good basketball. It's possible. Now, the reason I like Texas Tech in this game, we'll just talk about this game a little bit because we know a little bit more about it. The reason I like Texas Tech in this game is because Akron's a good team, right? They, 20, 25 plus wins on the season, whatever. They're a good team. But they don't really have a lot of size. And that was the one thing I really worried about this Texas Tech, even with JT Toppin, is playing a team like Florida, playing a team like Illinois, who has 7-footers, who has multiple 6'10 plus guys. The tallest player on Akron is 6'10.
Dang.
And they have a bunch of guards. So they're playing small ball, which is what we play now, which is what Texas Tech played. We play small ball.
Yeah.
Right? We're shooting the 3. So it's a good matchup. It's going to be a close game. Texas Tech is not the best free throw shooting team. They're in the low 70s. You want them to be closer to you want them to be over 75%, make it 3 out of 4. but they're closer to about 71, 72%. So that's could be bad. But both teams shoot a lot of threes. It's just kind of like which team is hot that day, which team is making threes and which team isn't. Akron is not the best rebounding team because they don't have size. Texas Tech is not the best rebounding team because they don't have that much size. So it's a really good matchup. It's going to be a close game. I would say
the better coach is Grant McCaskill.
The better coach, and he's going to be on those fucking refs,
definitely
chewing their asses out. Because I would too. But I think with Christian Anderson healthy, he kind of got banged up in the first game of the Big 12 Conference Championship. If our players can show up, Donovan Atwell, Lawan Watts, these guys,
Jalen Petty,
if these other guys show up and don't freeze in the moment, I don't see a problem with us winning this game. Akron might cover the spread. I think it's like 8 points right now. I could see that definitely being a 6 to 8 point game. But I think Texas Tech does win this game. All right, let's move on to the 4 seed Alabama, and the 13 seed Hofstra.
Alabama, not even close. I hate the 13 seeds in this bracket.
Well, I like the 13 seeds, so I am taking Hofstra. I told you I like the 13s a lot better than the 12s.
Why? Explain
so let's go. Hofstra is good.
Alabama is good.
Alabama is so good that they won the SEC championship?
No. But do you see who's in the SEC? Florida, Vanderbilt, Arkansas.
Yeah.
All those teams.
So they're behind all
Tennessee.
these teams.
Yeah, but they're still very good.
Georgia, like all these teams. Hofstra might be one of the best mid-major or the lower seeds in this entire tournament. I like Hofstra. They're good. I'm telling you, I like Hofstra a lot in this one. And Cal Baptist.
Hell no.
And Santa Clara.
Especially not Cal Baptist. That team is not winning. It's not even going to be close. Kansas is going to put belts.
Oh, Cal Baptist. I'm putting an extra bet on them.
Hell no.
I'm going money line on that.
We are
one.
sitting down on Thursday and watching that game. Actually, no, I'll be at school.
You'll be crying in class.
No, I will
Cal
not.
Baptist.
No.
All right, let's move on to the 6 seed Tennessee, and they're going to be playing the 11 seed play-in game, which is either Miami, Ohio, or SMU, Southern Methodist University. Who you got in this one, Brody?
I love Tennessee, so give me Tennessee.
I have Tennessee in this one. So in the other 11 seed play-in game, I chose the 11 seed, which I believe will be NC State. But this one, I like Tennessee. They're really good on defense, shoot good free throws. So Miami, Ohio, that's the team out of the MAC. They went undefeated in the regular season, like 31-0. But they didn't win their conference tournament. That they did, they would not be playing in a play-in game. But they actually might lose this game. SMU is a really good, fast, fun team to watch. So I don't know who's going to win that game, but I still like Tennessee to slow down and control that game. So I'll take Tennessee to move on to the second round. The next one is the 3 seed Virginia, and we are in, just a reminder, we're in the Midwest region here. The 3 seed Virginia versus the 14 Wright State.
Virginia is very good.
I have Virginia also. We do remember Virginia when they beat Texas Tech in the national championship game when Brody was playing a Little League game and I was pacing up and down the sideline over there.
That's before I was into March Madness, so I didn't really care at the time.
All right, and then we have the 7-10 game, which is the 7 seed Kentucky versus the 10 seed Santa Clara.
Kentucky. Not even close. I love the SEC teams.
I see. Oh, but yeah, you definitely do. You definitely love who was Alabama,
Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee.
Well, I got the 10 seed Santa Clara. Let's go. Let's get it done. A 10 over a 7. Big upset pick.
Oh, that's a big upset pick.
All right. And then the last one for the first round is the 2 seed Iowa State versus the 15 seed Tennessee State.
Iowa State. They are way too good.
Iowa State. I agree, Brody. All right. Let's move on. Let's make our picks based on our own brackets for the second round to make it to the Sweet 16. This will go just a little bit quicker because there's not as many games. But let's go back to the East, and we'll start with announce who is in your second round and then who you think is going to win, Brody.
All right. So in the East, I have Duke TCU. I'm taking Duke.
Mm-hmm.
Am I going through all of them or no?
I can do mine.
All right.
I have Duke and Ohio State, and I'm going to take Duke to make it to the Sweet 16.
Next, I have St. John's in Kansas. Give me Kansas all the way.
I have St. John's and California Baptist, and I'm going to take St. John's. Rick Pitino gets it to the Sweet 16 to have that big matchup against Duke in the Sweet 16.
Next, I have Louisville and Michigan State, and I'm going to take Michigan State.
I have South Florida and Michigan State, and again, the big-time coach Tom Izzo gets his team to the Sweet 16, so they will defeat South Florida in round number 2.
Next, I have UCF and UConn, and give me UConn.
I have UCLA and UConn, and I'm taking UCLA. I think this is the first game or the first spot where a 2 seed goes down. UConn to me has been really streaky this year. They seems like when I watch some of those Big East games, they weren't dominating like they normally do. They were struggling against teams like Providence and St. Louis and St. John's and all these other Big East teams where they normally dominate. So I don't know. I'm not super high on UConn, so let's knock them out right here. Go UCLA.
We seem to disagree a lot in the East.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah.
Because you don't have Kansas a lot in that.
All right. Let's move to the South and your first matchup in the second round.
I have Florida and Clemson, and Florida's size is too much, so give me Florida.
I also have the same thing, Florida and Clemson. I have Florida moving on to the Sweet 16.
Next, I have Vanderbilt and Nebraska, and give me Vanderbilt.
I have Vanderbilt and Nebraska. I think Nebraska gets that first win, and it gives them a bunch of momentum, and they take out Vanderbilt. Nebraska actually is a really good basketball team. They've had a couple good basketball teams that I can remember sparingly, but if they get that first win, it might turn into a second one. So I'll take Nebraska.
Next, I have VCU and Illinois, and one of my rare upset picks is going down. Give me Illinois.
That's one of your upset picks?
No, because I took VCU over North Carolina.
Oh,
so
yeah,
one of my rare upset picks.
Yeah, I have VCU and Illinois, and again, I think we both like Illinois, so we got Illinois in the Sweet 16.
Next, I have St. Mary's and Houston, and I was low-key close to taking St. Mary's, but give me Houston.
I also have the same thing, St. Mary and Houston. I have Houston. I mean, Houston they have just too much experience in the tournament to not make it to the Sweet 16.
In the West, I have Arizona and Utah State, and I think Utah State scares Arizona, but Arizona does pull out on the top.
I have the same thing, Arizona, Utah State, and Arizona will make it to the Sweet 16 as they normally do, but will they get past that?
Next, I have High Point and Arkansas, and give me Arkansas.
I have Wisconsin and Arkansas, but I'm also taking Arkansas to make it to the Sweet 16.
Next, I have BYU and Gonzaga, and I'm taking Gonzaga. They're making it to Sweet 16 and might get past.
I have NC State or Texas, but I believe it would be NC State. But I'm taking Gonzaga. Gonzaga, again, like Arizona, they always make it to the Sweet 16. But will they get past that? We don't know.
Next, I have Missouri and Purdue, and I'm taking Purdue.
I have Miami of Florida and Purdue, and I got Purdue to the Sweet 16.
And in the Midwest, I have Michigan and Georgia, and I'm taking Michigan.
I have Michigan and St. Louis, but Michigan is too good. They will continue on to the Sweet 16. I don't think I have any 1 seeds not in the Sweet 16. So, okay, next one.
Next, I have Texas Tech and Alabama. And sadly, Texas Tech goes down because Alabama's size. Alabama is a big physical team, and they have a really good guard. And Christian Anderson's coming off being hurt, and Texas Tech's momentum doesn't seem to be that big right now. So sadly, I have Alabama beating Texas Tech.
Well, I have Texas Tech against Hofstra. So I have Texas Tech into the Sweet 16 to face Michigan. Probably not a good matchup there.
That's not a good matchup at all. Oh, no.
But I do have Texas Tech going into the Sweet 16 because they're playing Hofstra. Because Hofstra's going to pull that upset against Bama.
Next, I have Tennessee and Virginia. And I love this Tennessee team, so give me Tennessee to upset Virginia.
I have Tennessee and Virginia, but I got Virginia.
Okay.
I mean, the Tennessee team, again, they're good on defense, but Virginia is good.
Yeah. And then last in the Midwest, I have Kentucky and Iowa State. And Iowa State are really good shooters, so give me Iowa State.
I have Santa Clara in Iowa State, but this is the end of Santa Clara's run. Iowa State makes it to the Sweet 16.
Usually there's upsets in the round of 64, but then once they get to the round of 32, they kind of
The round
lose.
of 32, I think the round of 32 and the Sweet 16 are the hardest games to get past. Now, so I normally try to have a Cinderella in my bracket. I don't really have one this year.
I don't really have one either.
And I just wanted to talk about that just a little bit, just because I think because of NIL, we saw it last year that the upsets I think are going to be a little bit more rare, because a lot of these teams that would normally be on these lower seeds are now on because of NIL. They get paid and they get to play on these other big time schools. So the Cinderella and the ton of upsets, I don't believe that's going to continue to happen. It may happen once in a while, but I don't really have a Cinderella this year.
It's not really a Cinderella, but I do have a 4C winning the whole thing.
Oh.
And I told you, Dad, Kansas is in the name, right?
Yeah.
I don't have Kansas. I have Arkansas. Give me Arkansas to win the whole thing. And they're a 4 seed, so it's not really a Cinderella run, but it's not a top 3 seed, so it kind of is a Cinderella a little bit.
Well, I was just thinking, my lowest seed in the Sweet 16 is the 7, I believe, which is UCLA.
Mine is Tennessee, which is a 6.
Okay. I was thinking, should we just go ahead and just announce our Final Four? We don't have to do the Sweet 16 or Elite 8. Just announce the Final Four and then our championship game and who we think is going to win, just for fun.
My Final Four for the East and South, I have Duke winning the East and I have Florida winning the South. And then for the West and the Midwest, I have Arkansas winning the West and I have Michigan winning the Midwest.
Ooh, I have Duke, Florida, Arkansas, and Michigan in my Final Four.
We have the same thing?
Yep. Okay, now what about your championship game?
I have Duke beating Florida and Arkansas beating Michigan, and I have Arkansas upsetting Duke and winning the whole thing.
I have Florida and Michigan winning the whole thing.
So we have the same Final Four, but different outcomes.
Yes.
And in the West, I actually don't have a 1 or 2 in the Elite 8. I have the 3 and 4 teams.
Oh, you got
I have Gonzaga and Arkansas.
Gonzaga and Arkansas. Okay. Yeah, I have Arkansas and Purdue, but we'll get there on the next episode. All right. Yep. Well, that's our first and second round, our Final Four, and who we think is going to win the whole thing. I have Michigan. Brody has Arkansas. Let's see how we do. We'll kind of keep track and update you on the next episode. We'll be back with the Sweet 16 and Elite 8 rounds.
And that's going to be the actual games.
We'll pick the actual games, but we'll talk about how many we got right and all that stuff. So, all right. Thanks everybody for listening, and we'll check on the flip side.
Bye.